Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm out in the garden today and I have a few garden jobs to get done, so I thought I would bring you along for another garden with me vlog. Today I've really just got a few miscellaneous things to do. I really want to tackle the cottage garden and get that tidied and weeded. And I also think I really want to create some kind of like snow pea structure because I would like to plant some snow peas in the cottage garden and I don't really have any structure to do so. So I need to think of how to do that. So I thought I would just take you along with me, get some gardening done. It's a really nice day. Today it was very chilly this morning. You probably would have seen a few shots of the frost that we got. I ended up doing a little bit of a walk around the garden and it was very cold, but it has turned out to be a really nice day. So this is a little look at the cottage garden at the moment. The areas that I really want to be working on, I need to prune this rose here and just tidy up all of this area. There's so many strawberry runners that I need to get on top of. There's also some old dahlias in there that I want to pull. I have a grevillea tree growing in there which needs to come out, and just a nice big tidy up. Then over in this quadrant of the garden, this is another area that I would like to work on, and this is where I want to maybe have a pea trellis, maybe one going down there. I tried planting beetroot in here and I only had a few that sprouted. I don't even know, there's a few there that I can see, but I think either the seeds were just really old or slugs got them. We do have a lot of slugs coming out at night, which is a bit of a pain and is making sowing direct really hard. But there's actually so much in this garden area. I've got so much parsley, which is self-sown itself. There's some sweet William coming up, poppies. I've obviously got the rosemary. There's some more parsley over there, the curly leaf. I have a rose here that I've pruned and I need to just clear around that. Lots of calendula going to seed. And yeah, lots of weeds, lots of grass. I also just have this creeping weed that I don't actually know what it is. Please, if you have any idea, let me know what this is. It's some kind of ground cover and it is kind of covering the garden right now. I'm going to try and smother this with some cardboard because as you can see, it's just really taking over this area. And it again makes it really hard to actually sow anything direct into this garden. Another job also that I need to do is clean up all of this society garlic. I might even try and divide some and plant elsewhere. It's flowered and done and I just need to pull off all of the old flower stalks and just give it a really good trim back. I'm going to really harshly cut these back to the ground so that they reshoot, and yeah, maybe divide them as well. That's kind of it that's going on in terms of the cottage garden. I mean, we've got lots of jonquils. They're all blooming along the border, which is so pretty. This is where all my potatoes are lined up on the side. This is going to be a really big brassica bed, so I need to just keep on top of the weeds in here, which I pretty much am. And then over here I'll probably plant some more brassicas. I think actually this is going to be onions and brassicas. And then some more brassicas around here. I did have a really big rhubarb plant here, but I think it is totally died back after all of the rain that we've had, and I think the center has just rotted away. But I did end up planting one more over in here, so I'm just going to need to keep on top of weeds around that as well. So that's a little introduction of the cottage garden area. Let's get some jobs done. To be honest, I'm not feeling too enthused to work on a lot of this. I don't know, I think I've just left it a little bit too long. But I'm sure if we just do little bits at a time, it'll make me feel better and I'll get there in the end. So yes, let's tackle these jobs. Right, I think first I am going to tackle these society garlics. I have my kneeling pad. I'll leave a link in the description to this if you would like to purchase one of these. I really need a kneeling pad right now during pregnancy. It just makes life so much easier with gardening. But yes, firstly, let's tackle these. I'm going to cut them pretty harshly It's gonna look dramatic, but they'll come back just fine. So I'm just using shears like this. Don't let yours get as rusty and disgusting as mine. These still work okay, but they're not fantastic anymore. So I'm just gonna chop these at the base. Like that. This way I can also get in here and actually see what kind of weeds I have. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I've just had a little bit of a tea break, but I'll show you what I have done so far and kind of like my plan for this area. So like most areas of my garden, they end up looking worse before they look better. I feel like that's the same for most of us. Let me explain my madness here. First of all, you would have seen all of those weeds underneath this cardboard that I've laid down. This is my solution for now. I'm just going to cardboard all of that. I am going to continue to carve out the lamb's ear here to just deal with that. But for this side here, I ended up taking out 2 of those society garlics. I actually have them over here, and I will propagate them either tomorrow or the next day. They'll be fine just sitting there overnight. So now I have a clump of 3, which is much more manageable and I think will be fine for this area. I also had some oregano and a lot of weeds in here. I've taken that out, but I think the oregano will probably sprout back, which will be fine. If not, that's okay because we didn't really eat a lot of it. And now what I've done is I've started weeding this area over here, and I want to have a small little pathway going down here. And then on either side, I'm going to have some pea structures. I'm actually going to use these stakes for the structures. I'm going to cardboard this pathway. I need to propagate this parsley. I need to move that one over there so it's near to the edge and kind of more where the herbs are. And I have a dahlia here that I want to dig up and see what the tubers look like. There's also another parsley there that I might keep there because it's not really in the pathway. But then I'll have a nice defined pathway going down here. So then after maybe a month or so, I can lift up this cardboard and plant veggies in there, and I can tidy up this and just have some more herbs all throughout this area. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. There was just so many weeds in here that I really had to tackle, and I will probably just put my seedling trays on here throughout the day, which I have up here. I'll move these onto the cardboard just to keep it down, and I think it'll kill the weeds pretty quickly, and then I'll be able to heavily mulch it and plant in there. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to continue just to do a bit more tidying up of this area, and that's probably all I'm going to do for today. I'm so tired, and just that little bit of weeding has got me so tired, and I've got some more work I need to do inside. I've been listening to Jessie from Bear Flower Farm. Excuse the gardening noise in the background, but I've been really loving her content. I always love her videos, and she's been doing some really awesome interviews. So if you're into flower farming, make sure you check out Jessie at Bear Flower Farm. I will make sure to continue this vlog over the next few days if I don't check in with you again this afternoon, because I got a lot more to do and a lot more garden transformation to get done in this area. Put another layer on, and Scott's actually coming down to help me, so I think I'm going to try and get the pea or snow pea support done today. So I'll show you the plan for that. So these are the snow peas that I have. These grow to about 90 to 100 centimeters tall, so really don't actually need a big support system. And I'm going to just be using these stakes here that I used to grow tomato stakes. And I think they're about 120 centimeters tall, and when they're in the ground, probably more like 100, 105. So I think they'll work really well. And I'm probably just going to create a nice little line here of them, maybe 3 or 4, and then just use chicken wire in between the stakes. It's not going to look amazing at the start, but I mean, these grow really quickly, so I'm sure it'll look nice in a while. I'm firstly going to amend with some blood and bone, and then I'm also going to mulch with sugarcane mulch. And the plan is that we can have one row of snow peas up the back there, a little pathway going through there. I can eventually do another row there, and then I can actually have probably some broccoli or cabbages up the front here to maximize the space, because the sun comes from like this direction and hits there. So I didn't want to have the snow peas like right up the front, and then whatever is behind would get shade. So I think that is the plan. So yeah, hopefully it works out all right. It is the next day now, and I wanted to keep this vlog going. I ended up actually finishing off most of that kind of quadrant you saw me working on in the cottage garden yesterday afternoon, but I didn't actually sow the snow pea seed, so I'm going to do that now. And then I'm going to tackle this garden bed behind me with the rose and just lots of other things going on in there. It is very loud today, unfortunately, with people playing very loud music, so I might have to do some more voiceover music for this part of the video, but I'll show you now how I'm going to plant the snow peas. I'm really happy with the trellis and how this all worked out, but I'll show you now where I'm going to be planting these snow peas. So you would have seen in those last few clips we got pretty much this whole garden done except this area, and I will just wait until all of these weeds start to die down before I tackle this area. But I'm going to be planting the snow peas along the trellis. I think I'm just going to do one row on this side and then one row on the other side, and then just help them up as they grow. When you're planting snow peas and peas, they usually like to be planted about 10 centimeters apart and a few centimeters deep into the ground. So hopefully this won't take too long, and then I can get back to tidying up this garden. So it's been 2 days since I filmed. We had a bit of rain the last few days, so I couldn't really film what I was getting up to, but I thought I would just wrap this video up and share what the garden looks like now. I am very happy with the progress of this cottage garden. It is looking much more neat and tidy. Not that cottage gardens need to be neat and tidy, but this was getting out of control with all of the weeds and overgrown plants. So I'll turn you around and show you what it looks like. So this is a little overview of the garden now, much more manageable and ready to plant all of my spring veggies. So you would have seen the last few clips, I kind of just did like a montage of what I was getting up to, but I ended up sowing all of those snow pea seeds. They haven't popped up yet, but I'm sure they will this week. They would have really enjoyed all of that rain that we had. And then I ended up mulching a lot of the beds, and I also tidied up that quadrant over there. So this is looking pretty drastically different. And I have been wanting to do this for quite a long time to get rid of all of the strawberries that I had planted in here. I did actually pot some of them up, so I do have some runners down there that I will probably plant in some pots or another garden bed somewhere else, but they were just taking over the area, as you would have seen, and they also weren't really that productive either. We have a lot of birds and bandicoots and lots of little critters that were eating all of the strawberries, which is fine, but I also really wanted some myself. And I think I'm going to be able to manage it a lot better in pots with the strawberries, and I could just tidy them up and kind of clear up the runners as they spread, rather than just letting them sprawl all over the pathways. I also really heavily pruned my David Austin rose. This is what it's looking like now. And this is pretty much what I cut it back to last year, and it resprouted. You obviously saw how big it got, and it produced so many flowers this season. So I really don't have a method to cutting back my roses, but I do like to have like 1 or 2 like leading branches coming out that are going upright, and then a few kind of going out to the sides, just to have a nice rounded rose plant. That's kind of how I like mine to look in the garden. So honestly, this will probably take maybe a week or so, and I'll start to see some new sprouts. They do sprout very quickly, so I'm not worried about this. And I have given this whole bed a feed with blood and bone. I also sprinkled quite a lot of coffee grounds. You can kind of see them around the garden, and that will help with all of the worm activity, as will all of this beautiful sugarcane mulch, which is full of both carbon, and it also has nitrogen in it, and is just really important for our clay soils to just keep adding organic matter back into the soil. And mulch like this is really fluffy and is just perfect for our clay soils. We also did have a grevillea plant in here that was growing. You can see it's actually over there, and that just had to come out. We have so many that self-seed in the garden, and I didn't have a space for it, so it just came out. Otherwise it will get way too big. Like, that is a grevillea tree there. I really don't need another one in this space, particularly because I have a crepe myrtle here. And then the other thing that you would have seen was all of these pots that I redid, and just gave them a little bit of a refresh, weeded all of the weeds out, pruned back the geranium, and yeah, planted up a few little potted colour plants. We've got some alyssum and a lavender, and I'll probably plant some other flowers in the other ones. I also do have some hyacinths that they come back every year in those pots there. It's just a really nice kind of arrangement to have some colour in this area, because this is what I look out to from my office. So I like to have some nice flowers in pots here. One of the things that we didn't get to, I didn't manage to tidy this area up. I need to do that. And also behind the rosemary behind there, there's a big patch of lambsia and grass. We're going to take all of that out and maybe plant a dwarf fruit tree, or have some pots over there to kind of beautify that area up. But yeah, still a few things to do in the garden. And then, as I was saying before, I did amend all of the other beds. So I added blood and bone to them all, then some coffee grounds and some sugarcane mulch. I'm loving how these jonquils are looking around the border, and then all of these ones that are coming up as well. So this bed is now all weeded and ready to plant my brassicas, and I have quite a lot that are almost going in the ground. Probably at the end of this week I want to plant some. So this is going to be full of veggies and onions. And then the one bed that I didn't get to was this one here, and I just didn't have enough time. And again, I get tired really easily at the moment, so I'm just trying to not push myself, but this one isn't honestly too bad. And I also ran out of mulch, so I need to pick some more up of that and just tidy this one up. I know there's a lot of frogs in this garden bed, and I was also seeing quite a lot when I was tidying up the other ones, so I'll let them all have a bit of refuge here before I plant the garden back out again. So that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of a garden transformation. It's kind of stage one in the transformation, I suppose, where I have just prepped all of the beds now. They are ready to be planted. I'm so excited to get all of my veggies in here, and I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful this spring, particularly because of a lot of the herbs and the shrubs have kind of grown up a little bit to create all of those little eye-catching areas. And when all of the roses grow up, roses mixed in with veggies and herbs, just the garden ends up looking really, really magical. So I haven't really managed to tackle some of the other jobs in the garden, like planting some more potatoes and all of the flower farming jobs, but I have lots more videos of all of that coming very, very soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for lots more gardening and flower farming content, and I will be back with another video very soon. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.